Welcome. If you're new here, my name is Zhanna, and I'm a full-time fine artist based in Portland, Oregon. In this video, I'll share how I prepared for my current solo exhibition, Where Roots Refuse Borders, at One Grand Gallery in Portland. The show runs from April 3rd to May 8th. I've had about a year to prepare for this exhibition, but between other shows and commission work, a year goes by quickly. Now, with 3 weeks left until the opening, I'm officially in lock-in mode. Slightly panicked, but 100% focused.
Hello. Good morning.
Good morning. Oh my God, is that wonderful?
I love this. I'm doing a quick video.
It's a slug mask.
These masks were sculpted 3 to 4 weeks ago. They've now reached a completely bone-dry state and have been dropped off at the ceramic studio for bisque firing. I've only been working with clay for about a year and a half, and I'm realizing that after 18 years of being good at one medium, painting in my case, being a beginner is hard, especially with the unpredictable nature of clay. After the initial firing, what I'm learning is that there will always be surprises. But I've come to accept that if I never allow myself to be a beginner, I'll never stop being one. This studio belongs to a local sculptor, Russ Ford. I get excited when I meet people who are retired but still have so much zest for life, so much more to give and share. Because what I've observed is that not everyone who grows old becomes wise. So when I meet those who do, I try to learn as much as I possibly can from them. We have a bartering system. I help him with his website and he lets me use his kiln. After fixing cracks and glazing the pieces, they go back into the kiln for a second firing. And at that point, it's truly up to the kiln gods. I haven't picked up a camera since then because for the remaining 3 weeks leading up to the opening, I've been in the studio from 7 a.m. to 2 to 3 a.m. with a few all-nighters in between, and didn't have time to document the final stages of the series. But on April 21st, I gave an artist talk with the gallery at Soho House in Portland. Afterwards, we walked to the gallery and I finally had a moment to record the finished works in the show. I want to begin with a simple idea. We are carriers of landscape, not just from a poetic sense, but physically, culturally, psychologically. We carry the places we've lived, the places our ancestors lived, and the places we long for, or were displaced from. Just as seeds travel by wind or water, our histories travel through us. This body of work began with soil. I often think of soil as the mother of all, not just as material, but as a living system. It holds memory, it holds decay and renewal at the same time. It's made up of relationships, fungi, bacteria, organic matter, all working together in reciprocity. I started thinking about soil as a metaphor for culture. Culture is not static. It's shaped by what moves through it: migration, exchange, conflict, care. Like soil, it becomes more resilient through diversity. That's where the hybrid figures emerged. You'll see throughout the exhibition that the bodies are never fully human. Limbs extend into vines, skin becomes bark, faces dissolve into foliage. These figures inhabit spaces that feel like jungles, steppes, or overgrown ecosystems. But they're not meant to be literal landscapes. They're relational spaces, places where boundaries soften. Wild plants don't obey borders humans draw, and neither do ideas, traditions, or identities. I'm interested in that porousness between species, between past and the future selves, between the civilized and the wild. Pattern plays an important role in this work. If you look closely, there are repeated forms, cellular structures, root-like systems, textile echoes. The surfaces operate like mosaics of species. Rhythm moves across the composition almost like a pulse. I think of these patterns as visual metaphors for behavioral patterns. The rituals, gestures, cultural codes we inherit and repeat. We're born into systems that shape how we see, how we move, how we relate. But patterns are not destiny. They can be altered. Just as ecosystems evolve, the social and psychological patterns we participate in can shift. Even subtle changes create new relational possibilities. That idea that we can reshape inherited structures is very important to me. The masks in this exhibition come from a more personal lineage. I draw from my Siberian heritage and Slavic mythology, and animist traditions in which humans, animals, and spirits coexist fluidly. That everything around us has consciousness. In those cosmologies, the boundary between worlds is permeable. The masks are not decorative objects, they are thresholds. Sometimes they appear as deities, sometimes as half-human, half-mythical beings, familiar and foreign at the same time. They move between cultivated world and the untamed one. For me, they represent transformation. They allow for multiplicity. They question fixed identity. I use found material together with clay. There's also an undercurrent in this work about power, particularly structures that attempt to control what is wild, feminine, migratory, or hybrid. Other futures are always pressing against antiquated systems. The work asks, what happens if we stop suppressing the untamed? What if hybridity is not something to manage, but something to cultivate? Each piece here isn't meant to be a static object. I think of them as participants in a relational field. The meaning doesn't live solely in the work, it emerges between the work and you. Your own histories, migrations, inheritances, they activate the pieces differently. So when I say carriers of landscape, I don't just mean me, I mean all of us. We all carry terrains within us of memory, displacement, resilience, contradiction. The question becomes, what are we growing in that soil? What patterns are we repeating? And which ones are we ready to reshape? Thank you for spending time with the work. I'm really grateful you're here. And please let me know if you have any questions or thoughts in the comments below.